Hi everybody, good evening. Welcome to another late night stream, although it's not that late night like it was the last streams. And particular greetings to Mr. Boff Trouty. Hey, nice to have you in. It's a pleasure. So, although I know that you both Trouty are pretty well aware of what this is about, allow me nevertheless to have a few minutes to introduce the game. So, as you might have guessed by now already, this is a World War II submarine simulator, and it's great actually. I'm streaming this one since a long time already, and yeah, I have dumped quite a lot of hours into the game, and particularly also into streaming the game. And yeah, at the moment we are diving. Last stream we infiltrated a convoy successfully at the end of the day when the sun was setting and it was getting dark, and we successfully sank 3 ships. Here you see, well, there's just 2, maybe the third one hasn't yet sunk, but I think finally it's gonna be 3. So the problem is I paused the game, but pause is never 100% in the game. So time very slowly sneaks onwards when you press pause. So let's be quick with a little intro about what it is about. Let's do that a little bit shorter than usual. So this is World War II, and yeah, you can start different scenarios, but what I do here is I started the game at the very beginning, and I'm doing the very beginning of the war in September 39, and I'm doing the whole walkthrough through the war in this wonderful open world. And yeah, you see it's by now mid of August 42, so we are soon 3 years in the war. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And yeah, talking about Canada, so I started with this small Type 2 submarine, and then I had to earn my merits and finally was upgraded to be the proud captain of a Type 7C by now. And by being further successful in sinking enemy merchantmen, by now I also have possibility to have access to milk cows, which is support ships which I can place at sea and use them like for having that long distance of the Atlantic would already deplete our fuel resources, and here you can refuel and then go for the target area. So we had quite some action around here off the coast of Canada. Yeah, speaking of Canada. And yeah, since quite a while we had sunk 10,000 tons for this particular mission here, and now I sank a few more ships, so we did quite some tonnage actually. And this is Operation Drumbeat. So you have these kind of large scale operations, and you have to do several missions to fulfill this Operation Drumbeat, which is sinking in total now 200,000 tons of merchantman tonnage in these quadrants here. And yeah, we are just at the end. So we could consider if we could go back to a milk cow, refuel and rearm, or if we go back home. By now we have fired all the torpedoes that we have. So bow storage is empty, stern storage is empty just as well. And yeah, let's take a look. Air quality is okay, battery charge level is okay, fuel as well. And what about the moral? Yeah, we have the discipline of 100 still, But now we will get a big debuff on discipline, because we are detected, the crew is fatigued. I can only reduce the fatigue if I give them some shore leave after the end of a mission. We are deep, which also demoralizes the crew, and at the moment as we are on battle stations, there is no food preparation. So discipline will deteriorate, but hopefully not too fast. So let's get into it. Let's try to be sneaky. So we are down to roughly 120 feet and we are pinged at the moment. We are on silent running. Let's close the bulkheads. Oh, we are not on battle stations yet, so guys, please man the battle stations. So the off-watch guys should actually do battle damage control. Mr. Arlos should still care for the engine so that if needed we can get full flank speed. Mr. Schneider, for some reason he doesn't have the option. Can we tell him to do damage control? Don't know why it doesn't work at the moment. So now in this critical situation I assign all the off-watch crew to the offices, which... Oh, okay. Flank speed ahead. Now they're dropping on us. Let's get deeper. Let's get deeper. They're right above us. So they are making so much noise that it shouldn't be any trouble to actually turn on the pump and get rid of a bit of the water in the bilge. Okay. So whenever I have enemies right above me, we get that information from the hydrophone. I used to go flank speed and change course by 90 degrees. And when they are right above us, they wouldn't hear us anyway, so going flank wouldn't do any harm in terms of giving away our position. Yeah, when the bilge is empty, they're gonna turn off the pump again. Come on, that's enough. Turn off the pump. Go back to snaky speed. Silent running. Still a little bit of water left in the bilge. So we don't have a leak or something critical. It's just like when you dive, you always have a little bit of creepy leaks, like water seeping through gaskets into the hull, particularly via the gaskets of the shaft, of the drive shaft. And the deeper wow, okay, and the deeper you go, the higher the rate actually is of water sneakily seeping in. This is why you could not stay that far down endlessly. pump again. Hi guys, I see that there are quite a few watchers in the stream by now. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine if you just lurk. But of course, comments in the chat are always warmly welcome. Wow. They are dropping hard on us. A lot of traffic on top of us. Okay, now bilge is almost empty. There is a lot of traffic going on right above us. Come on, oh god. That's so noisy. There must be still right above us. Yeah, these loud bangs, they are actually no depth charges, but that's flares. So this is no risk for us. But hey, there are guys right above us. Why can't he do the damage control? Okay, there they have us. Changing course again for 90 degrees, going flank speed. Depth charge is very close. Come on, fingers crossed that they don't get us. Yeah, the submarine is so fragile down here with this enormous pressure of water on the hull. Wow, they're dropping like hell. Yeah, they're pretty pissed off. I sank 3 of their merchantmen. Can't really tell where they are actually exploding. Astern, as it looks like. Oh, that scared me. That scared the shit out of me. As long as they are dropping like hell, I could continue going flank speed. Okay, somebody please launch a sonar decoy. There we go. Hey, Canadian Pain. Thanks for the follow. Great to have you in. It's a pleasure. How are you doing? So they are dropping somewhere in front of us, as it looks like. Maybe do one more zigzag. Yeah, I do actually. I do have a few hours. I think I have 1,000, bit more than 1,000 hours on the game. How about you? Are you an old sword or relatively new in the game? Okay, yeah, so we are all waiting for the Type 9, right? Yes. Hey, yippee up! Great to have you in. Survived the test week. Yeah, okay. Very good. Yeah, that was why I was very curious and eager to play the Type 2 when they actually introduced it. But after having played the Type 2 for a while, then again I was pretty happy to have been promoted to commanding the Type 7 again, because the Type 2, it's just so slow and it has this limited range. So yeah, on the one hand I'm very curious on the Type 9, and on the other hand I fear the moment when I'm gonna have to abandon my career. As you see, I'm already in August 42, and I never went so far in the campaign before. Yeah, that's right, it's limited, it's too slow. Pretty hard to actually intercept enemy convoys. But I pretty much loved that concept, to have another submarine in the game. So I really enjoyed sailing with it. So guys, shall we do a save game? So it's a new stream. So let's do a new save game, call it W229. You never know what happens, and I'm not playing this in the absolute hardcore way. So if I fuck something up with the torpedoes and aiming and things like that, I take it. I don't reload usually, but when I'm getting completely destroyed or a major part of the crew dies, then I allow myself to not do it hardcore, but reload. Okay, yes, okay, so your name is actually indicating where you're from, yeah. It's a pleasure. So, are you actually situated on the eastern coast, or more western or center, if I may ask? As for me, I am sitting in Germany, as you might have guessed already by my accent. And yeah, Frankfurt area here for me, actually. What do you mean with a little quiet? I mean, my sound is too low, would you say? Do you think I should tune up my voice sound, or the game sound, or both? Okay, St. Laurent and the lakes. Yeah, nice. Must be beautiful. So are you listening on iPhone? I mean on the phone or smartphone or computer? Because I'm a little bit surprised. Let me check my figures. I didn't change anything much. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what about you other guys in the stream? You got the same issue? Do you also think it's a little bit quiet? So in principle I do have just the same settings as always. Let's take a look at the mic. Yeah, also. Yeah, they're large, I think. You could probably have... Hey, Navigator, great to have you in. And thanks for the feedback. How are you doing? Yeah, there is a famous German writer. His name is Theodor Fontane, and yeah, he wrote that poem about a ship which got lost on the Great Lakes on the way from Detroit to Buffalo. Anybody has a guess what I'm referring to? I don't like that author so much, but I pretty much like that poem, which was called John Maynard. Ah, yes, yeah. I see what you mean, yeah. Yeah. And I could imagine that you have pretty rough weather out there. Yeah, okay, yeah. So they are still above us. What we see there is a little bit of the light of the flares that they are firing. Oh, there's so much traffic going on up there. I'm surprised that I didn't get this message of a third ship being sunk. Yeah, so maybe pretty hard to predict the weather, right? So you might get caught by surprise quickly, I would guess. Okay, depth charge some distance away. Maybe now they are dropping onto the decoy that I launched. if you have that quick change, and particularly when you're in the middle of the sea, do you have this like still in the middle of the lakes, still having some kind of shallow water? Yeah. Yeah, I love this poem about John Maynard, actually. But yeah, this is not about a ship getting into a storm, but it's about a steamer crossing from Detroit to Buffalo and, yeah, catching fire on the way. Okay, flank speed. So the quarterdeck actually caught fire. The helmsman finally saves the whole company of the ship by putting it on shore, but burned himself on the wheel while he was steering the ship onto the shallows close to the shore. Quite fascinated me when I was a child. Oh shit. That was close. Come on. Oh guys, fingers crossed. Come on. We really felt the explosion this time. So they are getting closer and closer by now. Wow. Yeah, we are really taking water now at that depth. So we were pretty lucky. The ship. Yeah. We really were shaken by the last depth charges, but still they didn't do any damage. Yeah, they are. There is a lot of industry settled around the lakes, right? Chicago, Detroit. Yeah. Yeah, we are too deep. We are taking too much water. At 100 and almost 150, maybe we should go back to 120 or something. Turn on the pump. They really mean it. They really want to know that we are dead. Come on guys, fingers crossed. I'm changing course again, 90 degrees, flank speed. It's the C actually. It's the 7C that I'm going with. Hey, okay, best regards also to our YouTube community. Colin, great to have you in. It's a pleasure. Thanks for joining. I don't dare to get further up at the moment. Wow, that's close. Whoa. Wow, 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 that was close. Guys, any damages? Whoa, whoa, whoa. That shook us pretty hard. That shook us pretty hard. Damage control, guys. So you have this concept of hidden damages. So damages are not visible right away necessarily, but like you see now, the officers and their crews, their damage control crews now are searching for hidden damages. After we got... Whoa. Let's change course again. We are pinged. Hey, come on. This is really a tough chase. We got a bit of the water out of the bilge. Okay, looks like damage control teams found no damage worth mentioning. They are continuing. They are continuously doing that. Let's reduce speed and try to do the sneaky thing again. They are dropping like hell, so sooner or later they might run out of depth charges. Let's give it a save. W230. Yes, actually, that's good. Good description. I actually stirred another hornet net. Yeah. Could be well something like 8 men of war being up there chasing for us. So that was a very large convoy of something like, I think, 20 or 30 ships. And that late in the war, they might well be accompanied by 10 to 15 escorts. And I sank. Yeah, actually I sank for sure. I sank 2. I think I also hit 1 more severely, so might be that I did sink 3 of them. So I don't know if you have watched the last stream. We nicely infiltrated that convoy at dusk and were really able to, sink 2, maybe 3 of them, and then dived away. And then actually when we dived away, they recognized us and started the hunt. Maybe we shouldn't have dived, maybe we would have just stayed on periscope depth. Maybe their hydrophones are more tuned to the depth and not to the shallow water. Not quite sure about that. What would be the best tactics? Okay. More propellers right above us or closing in. Okay. Okay, so let's turn around once more. And somebody please turn on the pumps when they are right above us. They can't hear us, even if we go flank speed and have all the pump running and everything. Air quality 80%, that's still okay. But usually air quality is the first parameter to run critical when you're being chased like that. Discipline is alright. But of course the crew is nervous down here, being chased, being that deep. Imagine being confined to a steel pipe and know that you have a weight of 150 meters of water on your heads. Yeah, the good thing is the convoy, the merchantmen, they will just keep on going straight ahead, and sooner or later the escorts are gonna have to abandon our chase here to stay with their convoy. So we were shaken so badly by the last volley of depth charges, but we were pretty lucky not to get any damage. Here Mr. Arlos with the 2 crew hands, caring for the electric engines. The diesel being all quiet now. Oh yeah. Yeah, varying depth, that's a good point. But at the moment I just don't dare to get shallower, to shallower depth. Depth charge some distance away, that's good. Maybe they are still depth charging the decoy that we dropped. Yeah, that's on my Amazon list as well. Didn't watch it for a while, but it's on the list definitely. Hunt for Red October once more, yeah. Give me just one ping, Dimitri. Oh, what was the name of the guy? So reduce speed again. And do the sneaky thing one more. One ping only, that was it. Yeah. Okay, the bilge is pretty dry. Hey, weight loss, good evening. It's a pleasure to have you in. How are you doing? I watched a bit of your stream this afternoon. That game looked pretty nice. I didn't know it. Hey, they are depth charging. Probably they're depth charging the decoy. The point is that as long as we were in the Eastern Atlantic, we had a lot of support of other German submarines, so it might well be... Ah, shit. Depth charge is very close, so let's do another zigzag. Yeah, here at the US coast, there is not many German submarines around. Oh shit. But as long as I was in the Eastern Atlantic, I actually ran into German submarines again and again, and sometimes they saved my ass because they kind of distracted the escort from me and I could get away, and sometimes they were sunk for saving me. That happened now and then. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that game, but from what I saw, I pretty much liked it. Looked like it could still be good fun. Oh shit, again. They're dropping and dropping. Here we are going. Hey, that's nice. Yeah, thanks Colin for giving the priority to our stream here. Yeah, they age very well, I think, yeah. By the way, Colin, the pity is that all the other guys here can't see your comments in the stream. So most of the people being communicative here, they are on Twitch. So, I mean, it's perfectly fine what you do, but just the suggestion, if you like, maybe you would also like to join us on Twitch, because then you would be, yeah, a real part of the chat that we have around here. But yeah, don't feel pushed or something. It's just perfect if you do it like that and stay on YouTube. I always also like to extend my viewership on YouTube a bit. Maybe we didn't sink the last one. Hey, Quinton, Jill, great to have you in. It's a pleasure to see you guys on YouTube again. Oh, there is a ship really closing in. They are really closing in on us. Let's prepare for going to flank speed again. And change the course one more. So that... Hey, frying chicken, that sounds good. So what kind of chicken are you doing actually? Well, there they come. I could turn on the ventilation briefly. And maybe also the pump. They're making so much noise they wouldn't recognize anything. Depth charge some distance away. That's good. So this guy above us seems to be pretty determined towards us, but maybe he doesn't have any depth charges anymore, which would be great news. pinging us again. Turn off the pump. So obviously nobody obeyed me. Turning on the ventilation, so it's, yeah, just let it be. Let's see if we're gonna make that alive. So guys, you're doing great at the moment. Quiet. Just keep quiet. Breathe evenly. Yeah, we are on silent running mode, which means that the crew should kind of save their breath. Air quality 77%. Yeah, that's right. The bangs, they are uncritical. They are just flares, yeah.
Meter.
Maybe this is an indication that we are slowly getting away. That guy was going straight for us, passing above us, and he didn't drop depth charges. Maybe he's running out of ammo. Maybe he's running out of ammo. Yeah, so 162,000 tons of 200,000 that I am expected to sink to fulfill the Operation Drumbeat mission. Yeah, the whole crew is on silent running order. You see that by the blue lighting. There is still a lot of traffic above us. Yeah, all these drawings and dots on the map indicate that I'm playing on almost maximum difficulty level, which means that enemy targets are not automatically displayed on the map, but I really have to keep track of them manually, extrapolating their course and interpolating their speed and things. That's what really gives me a lot of immersion to the game. Yeah, but of course, everybody could just ease the boundary conditions a bit. Oh, they are dropping again. So change course again. And fingers crossed that we once more evade them. They're really not giving up. Okay, explosions somewhere over there. Please, somebody turn on the ventilation now. There's a lot of noise going on out there. Turn the ventilation on just briefly. Nobody's gonna turn on the ventilation, guys. Still. Oh, they are still dropping and dropping. Yeah, it's a lot of ships, a lot of escorts. Maybe something like 10 or 15 escort ships. I could imagine. Yeah, we have the water slowly seeping in. And again. Okay, change of watch.
Voraus.
Yeah, that might be a merchantman. Maybe there are still merchantmen passing by above us. It was such an enormously large convoy. If you look at that regular whoop 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 whoop, that might be a merchantman. Yeah, water in the bridge is slowly increasing just because of these, sneaky leaks at that depth, water being pushed and seeping through the gaskets without having any major leak. Yeah, get another repair kit. Yeah, right, Colin. It is, yeah. Or it was. We don't hear it anymore. Now we are sneaky again. Let's see how long we stay undetected like that. Almost 50 liters of water in. Yeah, keep quiet. Let's just go on steadily. Yeah, I was just thinking the same. The pings have stopped. And well, it was just that single ping. Maybe you're still right. They have no clue where we are. Hopefully. Hopefully, yeah. That was flares again. Another ping. Yeah, let's just go on steadily. Maybe we get out of that. Electric engines on. Silent running. Yeah, we have quite a lot of compressed air left, but we used a bit of that compressed air for pushing the torpedoes out. So we had fired 4 torpedoes, and that's why we don't have the full air pressure available anymore. Yeah, the petty officers' bunks. Crew bunks. And the officers' bunks. Yeah, 150 degrees. Mr. Trommel, our bosun. Mr. Grade, our chief engineer. Mr. Schneider is our second mechanic. Mr. Lamprecht, the captain. So guys, just keep calm. You're doing a great job. You did a great job. We sank 2, if not 3 ships. Yep, that was it actually. Yeah, again, the pings have stopped. Let's hope for the best. Bilge. That's just alright. Yeah, as I used to say, this is no quick action arcade game. Again and again, you need quite a bit of patience, and at that point, it's not a good idea usually to do time acceleration, because then you would just get surprised and die faster than you could react on anything. Almost 60 liters. Yeah, that's uncritical, but yeah, we still have plenty of buoyancy. Mr. Hinrich. Which course are we going actually? North again. So there is ships aport. And ships astern. Port astern. And there should be the convoy, the passing by convoy, but this is not a convoy. That's a fast mover. That's the convoy, probably. More ships astern. That's definitely military. That's men of war, escorts. This one is also an escort. And this one is gaining on us. They're moving fast. Maybe moving in on us again. Maybe let's do this. A little bit of, some people would call it cheating. I would like to call it the cinematic view. So a lot of flare up there. Okay, that ship passed by pretty close. Another one. These guys been there more or less silently listening. That guy passed by pretty close, but obviously they didn't get any signal on us. So it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ships going after us. Wow, or even more. And the convoy, I don't know, the convoy must be somewhere there in the darkness. Yeah, I wouldn't see it anymore. Yeah, they sped down and now they're listening again. So guys, the number of watches went up again a bit. Welcome, it's a pleasure to have you in, all of you. So, you are completely anonymous, I just see the number going up, but nevertheless, I always like to advertise a bit for participating in the chat. So, you participating just in viewing, that's perfectly fine, that's great, but you could make a little streamer like me a little bit more happy even if you would just drop a hi in the stream or start a little chat about your experience in the game, or maybe even give me a follow, whatever you like. But don't feel pushed, just watch silently if you like, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, Quinton Jill, he really made me curious on what he's doing with the chicken. So thinking about chicken. Yeah, let's not think about chicken or I will need some late night snack. No late night snack at the moment. It's not that late night actually, it's just 5 past midnight around here. So still quite some time to stream. As for me, still have to work tomorrow, but yeah, can sleep a little bit longer and I will work from my home office. And yeah, just have a line of meetings in the morning. So what about you guys? I think, or well, I hope that most of you are in a similar situation like I am, that tomorrow is the last day of work of the year, and yeah. So I think most of us will have 2 weeks off from tomorrow onwards. Is it like that? By the way, let me be AFK just for 1 minute. Need to get me another glass of water. So okay. Bad moment to be AFK. Let's turn on the pump once more. Let's see if somebody turns on the ventilation system as well. Mr. Preen, are you gonna turn on the ventilation? Yes, so that makes a hell of a noise. But it regains a bit of air quality. So we should turn that off quickly again, because yeah, this might attract a lot of enemies. We have these potassium absorbers installed, but yeah, they are quickly used up actually. We are still turning. Yeah, maybe we should turn it off again. Maybe we should turn off the pump just as well. And let's reduce speed again. Yeah, that's great. Sounds very good. Makes my mouth water. Yeah, to the Twitch audience on the YouTube channel, Quinton Jill just gave us a little bit of a description of the chicken that is just under preparation. So, okay, we still have just a bit of water in the bilge, and air quality, yeah, I think we increased it from 72 to 75, which is fine. And let's give the game another save and now allow me to be AFK. Okay, yeah, Colin from Scotland. Yeah, we have this 1 hour of time difference, yeah. Okay, so already today was the last day. Yeah, for us. There is still 1 more last school day tomorrow, but there will be no lessons. It will just be some kind of a, yeah, Christmas farewell. No content anymore. So be back in 60 seconds. see how we get out of this. That sounds again like another man of war closing in from the stern. Let's see.
Aktuelle Tiefe 140 Meter. Das wird nicht einfach, aber wir haben schon Schlimmeres überstanden. Lasst uns ruhig bleiben. 145 Meter.
Yeah, at the moment I'm pretty happy with the depth of 150 meters. So the water that comes in, seeps in, is moderate. And up to now it looks like it got us quite well away from the exploding depth charges. Maybe they don't expect us to go that deep. I really love this first-person view. Mr. Strauss, one of the crewmates. That's the helmsman, and these two guys are operating the fore and aft depth steers. Mr. Breen, Mr. Schneider. Okay, that hatch is closed. Very good. Sounder. Yeah, I never checked what the depth actually is underneath the keel. Let's see. Let's check it on the map with the mouse over. So here we have the depth according to the map. So when we move the mouse to the position of our ship, we see that it's 400 to 500 meters. So that's a bit deep. So if we would actually sink, we would become crushed before we reach the seabed. Is there another ship coming in? Sounds a bit like. Oh yeah. Let's change cars again. Turn on the pump and let's turn on the ventilation. Hey DS, thanks for joining. Great to have you in again. It's a pleasure. So how are you doing? So we are at the end of the week now, and also, yeah, close to the end of the year. So as for me, tomorrow it's my last day of work. Well, I have to do a little bit of work over the days, but all right, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Nobody turned on the ventilation system. Let's turn off the pump again. Okay, we got the build clear. So it's 2:30 in game by now.
Aktuelle Tiefe 140 Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 150 Grad. 145 Meter.
Yeah, I pretty much enjoy Christmas and New Year and this quiet time in between. Only thing that I find a bit stressy is the days before Christmas. But this year it's alright. So this year it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday is Christmas. So yeah, it's still some time to go shopping for the days, and I remember years when Christmas was starting on Monday, so it was kind of terrible. Or maybe Tuesday, so on Monday it was terrible to go shopping, and it was completely chaotic because all people went shopping Monday. But this year it's fine. This year it should be relatively relaxed. So most of the stuff you could already buy maybe on Monday. You don't have to go out on Tuesday or Wednesday on the latest. So we still have to figure out who's gonna buy the Christmas tree. Usually the last years my wife always did it, and I hope that she would do it again, but we didn't yet discuss it. So we are fine. Propeller sounds are pretty low by now. Mr. Hinrich. Okay, some sounds astern. That's definitely a man of war escort. What else do we have? Ah, looks like there is still parts of the convoy on the port side of us. That sounds pretty merchantman-like. Military again. Yeah, 100% military. Still ahead of us. So they are still actively searching. They haven't yet abandoned the search for us. That's pretty sure. Yeah, now we are so deep into the war. There are so many escorts with the convoy that they can afford to send something like 5 or 7 ships to continuously hunt a submarine while there is still sufficient escort left for the convoy. Yeah, but sooner or later they need to leave us alone. %72 of air quality. And navigation correctness is still alright, it's 80%. Of course, we are losing navigation correctness much faster now that we have turned on the gyro compass since a while. The gyro compass makes quite some noise, so when you do sand running, you would turn it off. Yeah, Hogmanay, I remember. Yeah. Quite some time ago, I spent a year in Edinburgh, but I have to admit that over Christmas and New Year, I actually went to back home to celebrate it with my parents. Well, Christmas with my parents and New Year with my friends. But I think I missed quite a bit. So Hogmanay, that must be quite something in Edinburgh and Glasgow just as well. And looking back, I think it was a mistake. I should have spent that year, Hogmanay New Year, in Edinburgh actually. Yeah, I only once went to Glasgow, I have to admit. So in that time when I was in Edinburgh, we once with a friend I did a day trip with the bus to Glasgow, which was, yeah, quite nice, but also quite a bit of a disappointment, because at that time I was thinking that I was starting to kind of be in command of the English language at least a bit. And in Glasgow, I really ran into a lot of people which I didn't understand at all. So Yeah, the people from Glasgow, the Glaswegians, they really have some very characteristic accent, haven't they? And I did have quite some trouble. Maybe nowadays it would be not that much of a problem, but probably still. I'm not very good with accents, I have to admit. Also not in Germany. So there are quite a few parts of Germany where I have trouble understanding people in German, I mean. So that was one ping, but obviously that was it. Let's just hope that they are not closing in on us. Yeah, but that's quite amazing to have Christmas an ordinary working day. So what was it about a Robert Burns supper? Would you have a day off then in Scotland? I don't remember, to be honest. Hey, that's quite amazing. Usually the chatty guys are the Twitch guys, and that's why I enjoy my Twitch community so much, but tonight it's a bit the other way around. And looks like the YouTube stream is much more chatty than the Twitch stream. I have to admit that I never heard of that guy. Stanley Baxter, so what was he doing? Yeah, you say he died just before his 100th birthday. That's quite some age, so I hope that he was alright and healthy and bright until then. So this is what I think is the most important thing, to age decently, like still being aware of yourself and master of your senses. Oh. That's a bit of a surprise that the depth charts are very close, although my impression was that the propeller sounds were not that close. So would somebody turn on the ventilation again? Let's see. Somehow that is a bit... yeah, let me not call it buggy, but sometimes... yeah, okay, there we are. They're still dropping. They're still dropping. They should run out of depth charge sooner or later. But they don't yet. Yeah, when the bilge is empty, somebody should turn off the pump. without me ordering it.
Ventilation ausschalten. Aktuelle Tiefe 150 Meter. Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 200 Grad.
Yeah, let's do this sneaky thing again. Who's gonna turn off the pump? So please do so. Mr. Keller, where are you? Your job is to turn... Oh, okay, it's turned off. Alright. So, no complaints. Yeah, alright, so I'm gonna Google that guy, Stanley Baxter. Yeah, he never reached German TV. Or at least he never reached me. Never heard of the guy, I have to admit.
Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 240 Grad. Meter.
Hey guys, they're just not giving up. Air quality is 76, that's good. Discipline 95. Yeah, the crew is not yet panicking. So the crew is pretty tough actually. At one point you will get some kind of a panic level in percentage, which starts at something like 15%, but it didn't yet start. So the crew is pretty firm and trained actually. Battery capacity 75%, I think that's uncritical. What about the fitness of the crew? Yeah, Mr. Arles might get tired soon, but most of the officers are still in pretty good shape. And if they were not, I could give them a cup of coffee to let them be awake again. Guys. Yeah, I remember this kind of format we also had in Germany for different types of language, like for example for Swabian, which is one southwestern dialect in Germany. Yes. I remember something like that on the radio stations from the south. Like Swabian for beginners. Yeah, I could imagine that to be pretty funny. So he was actually originating from Glasgow, was he? Let's do the cinematic view once more. They didn't fire any flares since long. Maybe they even ran out of flares. And that would be so great if they even simulated in the game the amount of flares that the ships would actually have. And if you ask me, I would say pretty much looks like they are running out of flares. They're not firing any flare anymore. There was one ship still searching, and so it looks like there is maybe just one ship, just 2 ships left searching for us, and the others might have returned to the convoy. So maybe it's converging what we are doing here. Parliamo, Glasgow. Yeah. Gotta check that out. Yeah, I'm pretty glad that I finally got that running here, this view where I get the Twitch streamers commands and the YouTube watchers commands in one view, so I don't have to switch again and again between the YouTube and the Twitch view. So here I get all your commands jointly. So the only thing missing, I'm not sure if this is possible, what I really would love to have is if the Twitch guys would see the YouTube guy commands and the YouTube guys would see the Twitch guy commands, but maybe that's not possible. As I said, the Twitch stream is surprisingly quiet tonight. Usually I have much more nice conversation on Twitch on the Twitch channel, and right now we are much more talkative on the YouTube channel, which is fine just as well. Let's give it another save. Yeah. So what do you mean with pantomime season? So is there something like a pantomime season in Glasgow? Like something like a pantomime festival or something? They are still up there. They are not leaving me alone. One guy there. And there should be a second guy. Yeah, there he is. Let's see. 1, 2. Any more? Hey, what is this? We do have a contact ahead. But that sounds pretty much merchantman-like. What do you think? This is a merchantman, isn't he? Okay, so if we look at the map,
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
yeah, so let's change course to the north and see if we get away from these guys. Hey, that sounds a bit like that guy is closing in again. Hey, they can't have any depth charges left. They have been dropping so much. Are they firing flares again? That sounded a bit like there was flares being fired in the distance. Let's get to the cinematic view. Air quotes. Wow. No ship visible again. Nice. So maybe we are actually getting rid of them. Although the propellers still sound pretty noisy. Ah, okay, all right. Let's give it a save, and maybe I dare to do a little bit of time acceleration by now. Maybe we are getting away.
Peilung 150 Grad.
Okay. Wow, another one ahead. Come on. We are really running low on air quality by now. Okay, there we have that information. The crew is strained and stressed. 10%.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 110 Grad.
So, Colin, are you still living in Glasgow? So, from your prior comments, I thought that your father was coming from Glasgow, but you were living somewhere different right now.
Tauchen auf. 120
Yeah,
Meter.
let's get a little bit up.
Meter.
Okay, that sounds a bit like the guy is coming in.
Meter.
Do we have an escort coming in again? Sounds a bit like that.
115 Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 275 Grad.
Okay, all right. Interesting. So I have to admit that I never visited Perth. I think I hadn't been to Perth. Although it's quite in the center, actually. Let's give it another save. Yeah, the level of propeller sound is not decreasing. It's even getting louder. They're still up there, still looking for me. Yeah, air quality is really dropping by now. Closing in. Give it a save.
Schraubengeräusche. Direkt über uns. Schneller, schneller. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Lenzpumpe einschalten.
Turn on the pump.
Ventilation
Turn
einschalten.
on the ventilation system.
Ventilation einschalten. Aktuelle Tiefe 120 Meter.
We're still changing course. burning a lot of these filters of these. Potassium filters. We don't have. We still have a few potassium filters in store, so we don't have to worry about that. But let's stop it right now. Let's reduce speed again and do the silent running again. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I have been to Dundee actually. Yeah, these guys are really hard to shake off. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty exactly where the River Tay actually meets the this kind of fjord, right? Let me check it briefly. Yeah, okay. Just checking it on Google Maps. Yeah, okay, alright. That was roughly what I thought. Yeah, okay, alright. Just checked it on the map.
Kurs setzen.
Maybe we are getting away like that. They're still circling us. They're still circling us. How could that be? Come on, guys, leave me alone. I don't even have a single stern sound-seeking torpedo left to sink them. So we really have to wait it out. So it's almost 4 o'clock by now. In the game, I mean. I don't know, I somehow feel that I had been hiking along Loch Tay. Loch Tay. Let me check that on the map. There is Loch Earn. Where do we have Loch Tay? Ah, there it is. Killin. I've been to Killin, actually. I think we were doing a hiking trip through the highlands, and just by chance we ran into the little village of Killin when they were having their Highland games there. Killin at Loch Tay, yeah. %66% of air quality. And almost 50 liters of water in. And they're still not leaving us alone. What if I would just stop? Dead silent down here. I don't know. Let's give it another save. Come on, fingers crossed that they finally leave us alone. Let me give it another save and allow me to be AFK just for a minute. I definitely need to get me a little late night snack. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, back again. So, thanks for your patience. Let's carry on. I just got me 2 slices of bread with a bit of cheese. So, guys, please excuse me for molesting you with my munching noises now, but we just need a little snack. Bread and cheese. Yeah, I am having, not quite sure what it is, some kind of what we call Bergkäse. Yeah, it's in the style of, maybe you know that cheese from Switzerland, Gruyere, Gruyère. So we are trying to get away from the escort. We had a pretty successful run. So with dusk, after the sun has set, with the last light, we infiltrated on periscope depth into that convoy without being noticed by the escort. Fired a few torpedoes, sank definitely 2, maybe 3 merchantmen, and then dived away. And then, yeah, the escort was going hard after us. And by now there's something like, I think, 2 escorts still circling above us, and the rest has returned to the convoy, being on their way. So now it's a bit of a matter of patience to get away alive. But they did drop a hell of a number of depth charges upon us. Yeah, sometime acceleration, and that sounds good. It sounds like they are actually abandoning us. Mr. Hinrich at the hydrophone. Okay, that looks good. Of course, you always have to keep in mind that the hydrophone has a dead angle, astern, and a fore just as well. But at the moment, I really think they have abandoned the hunt for us. So let's carefully get back to the surface.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 110 Meter.
Air quality 60%, battery capacity 70%, relatively uncritical. Yeah, let's have the crew
85 Meter.
step away from battle stations and yeah, let's
Alarm beenden.
stop battle stations.
65 Meter. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Tauchen auf 20 Meter. 50 Meter. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
3 miles.
Aktuelle Tiefe 35 Meter.
Yeah, in the darkness we should easily get away from them. Except for radar. We are almost 3 years into the war, so we have to think of radar.
20 Meter. Tauchen auf 10 Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 15 Meter.
Yeah, Colin, you're right. So that's why I am carefully going back step by step. I'm not surfacing right away, but now going for periscope depth, yeah.
Auf Seerohrtiefe. Herr Kaloi, wir sind auf Seerohrtiefe. Boot für Rundblick eingesteuert.
Yeah, but vision range is pretty small, pretty short actually. Just 2 cables, that's almost nothing. Hey, come on, let's give it a save and then I think it's safe to get back to the surface by now.
Anblasen.
So Mr. Grade now opening the valves to let the compressed air push the seawater out of the ballast tanks. And there we are, quickly back to the surface.
Dieselmotoren weg.
Stop silent running, open the bulkheads.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
There we are.
Herr Kapitän?
Okay, there is a radar detector contact. Where is it? That's very far away. At the edge of the range. 3 miles. Well,
Halbe Fahrt voraus. Äußerste Kraft.
hey, come on, let's go flank for now. So that we get away from that theater. Yep. Yeah, that's right. I'm always afraid that me sending radio messages to the BDU, that this might give away my position. Even though they wouldn't be able to actually get the content, they might still find out where I am from sending that. Yep. I 100% agree. Okay, somebody turn on the pumps, please.
Einschalten.
And what about the stores? Yeah, okay, we used up quite a bit of potassium absorbers, so let's transfer some potassium absorbers from the hold to the ventilation system. So what about the galley? The galley is fine. The 4 types of food. That's good. And saving the vegetable for now. All right. There we go. Now, the question is what to do next. So we have 2 options actually. We could go, or actually 3 options. First option would be to go to the milk cow, refuel, restock the torpedoes, get food on board again, and continue sinking ships around here. Second option would be get there, refuel, and get back home over the Atlantic. And third option would be get straight back, because we still have quite some fuel in our tanks. With this we could go straight back actually. And the discipline is going down at the moment. Too much work from the officers. Yeah, we can't help that. These 2 guys can go enjoying their off watch. Neglected food preparation should be no issue anymore any minute, because we have stopped battle stations, which means that the galley is in operation again. Yeah, this the crew does automatically. Since a while, since some update, it is like whenever you get back to the surface, the crew actually turns on the compressors automatically. Here you see they were already running, and we are back to 240 atmospheres. Okay guys, good job. That was a good job. Discipline is still deteriorating. So what if I send the captain to play cards with the crew? Okay, for some reason I don't have the option to play cards at the moment. That's a bit weird. But, okay. Give it another save and do some bit of time acceleration again to get away from the theater.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Kurs setzen.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy?
Okay, I think now it should be safe to send some radio signals.
Navigation besetzen.
Herr Kapitän?
Funkraum besetzen.
Okay, let's send the messages. Looks like we only sank 2 of them. But that's all right. It's a relatively bright night. Is there the moon up? No, it's just a clear sky. No moon, but yeah, quite alright. Good vision.
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
So we can send him back to his bunk, off watch. Yeah, look at that. It's still something like 30,000 tons I have to sink. Yeah. Let's just head straight back home.
Kurs setzen.
2,000 miles. I think we can do that with 77% of fuel. So let's give it a new save, just to be sure. Call it W231.
Zeit für eine Auszeit. Endlich ein paar Stunden Pause. Endlich ein paar Stunden Pause.
So that's the long run back home.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Melde mich zum Dienst.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
We need a bit more navigation correctness, don't we?
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Please, we
Navigation
need you
besetzt.
for another shift. It's just 8 knots. Actually, yeah, you're right. That's quite a bit of a swell for 8 knots of wind speed.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloin.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Natürlich.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige etwas Unterstützung.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloi.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt. Navigation besetzen.
Now this is the patience part of the game again, to get us back home. So still 64% of fuel. Discipline 77%. Yeah, sooner or later discipline is really gonna become a problem, probably. What about the food?
Ich benötige Ihre Unterstützung. Folgen Sie mir. Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Nah, I don't.
Ich benötige Ihre Unterstützung. Folgen Sie mir. Natürlich, Herr Kaloi.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Navigation besetzen. Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloi. Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
And there we go again. The weather is not the nicest. Well, it said rain, but it isn't raining actually. Just cloudy, just overcast.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Wir haben ein Funktelegramm vom BDU erhalten.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Okay. We hope this message finds you and your crew in good spirits. Your next mission is patrol grid. No. Okay. That was the only information. Brother of Walter Cross promoted to rank of sergeant. Congratulations. Alright, so what does this mean actually? Does it have any influence on... Yeah, the fatigue level is getting worse and worse. Now we are at minus 16. But what is this about the brother of that crewmate about? I never had that message before, and I have no idea what difference it actually does make. Well, let's give it another save, however.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Navigation besetzen.
Yeah, there we are closing in to the Eastern Atlantic.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Navigation besetzen.
Okay, you think I can actually do that? Like this Mr. Course? Walter Course, where are you? Ah, okay, see, he has got this exclamation mark on him.
BDO hat eine Nachricht für Sie. Ihr Bruder wurde zum Feldwebel befördert.
Das ist fantastisch. Ich wusste schon immer, dass er es in sich hat. Ich kann es kaum erwarten, ihm zu schreiben und ihm zu gratulieren. Ich danke Ihnen, Kommandant.
Cruise experience has increased by 150 points. Very good. Yeah. All right. Thank you. You were right, Colin. Never had this kind of message before. So. All right. Let's give it a save. And carry on.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Wow, now we have wind speed of 25 knots. That's an outrageous gale, is it? A roaring gale. Yeah, discipline, 66%, but I can't help it right now. What about the varied dishes? We are really running out of different types of food.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Yeah, now we are really closing in onto our home port.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Kondensstreifen. Peilung 105 Grad.
All right, so please man the air guns.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Contrail spotted. Yeah, we could
Raum besetzt.
report that. Two guys at the air guns. And let's give it a save. But let's save it with another name, W232. Just in case that this is maybe hopeless. Are they gone by now?
Telegramm gesendet.
Maybe they didn't spot us.
Ja? Ja? Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Okay, looks like that was a bit of false alarm. So stop direct orders.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt. Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 110 Grad.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ja,
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi? Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Natürlich, Herr Kaloi.
Okay, we have a signal, but it's not quite sure whether it's an air. Let's give it a save. If it's an air contact. (110 degrees). We're there. Yeah, when you're entering port, you can really run into trouble because then there might be this large air raids of something like 5, 6, 7 airplanes at the same time. And out at sea, you usually only have 1 or 2 planes, which are, yeah, not too much of a threat.
Alarm! Flugzeug in
Ruhig
Sicht!
und konzentriert,
Heilung!
Männer. Wir
115
schaffen
Grad!
das.
115 degrees must be somewhere over there. So guys, be aware that there is airplanes abroad.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Ja?
Alarm beenden.
So they actually didn't spot us.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Bestätige.
Just a bit of water in the bilge, no issue. But somebody could turn on the pump
Einschalten.
for a little while. Yeah, discipline is further deteriorating, but I think it will bring us back home. Fatigue is down to -17. The crew really needs a shore leave. Fuel is fine, just below 50%. This will bring us well home.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Natürlich, Herr Kanon.
etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kanal. Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Now it's foggy, that's good, that might protect.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 355 Grad.
Now give it a save.
Ja,
Let's man the flag gun. 355, so it's more or less dead ahead.
Funkraum besetzen.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
Kurs setzen. Äußerste Kraft voraus.
Let's change course to make our air guns bare. Like right now they wouldn't if they are coming in from there.
Ja?
Feuer frei.
Okay, where are they coming in?
Alarm. Flugzeug im Anflug. Peilung 330 Grad.
330, somewhere over there. I don't see it.
Feindliches Flugzeug abgeschossen.
Ah, there it is. Nice. All right. Very good. Got them. Are there more?
Funktelegramm gesendet.
Shot down, yeah, okay. So we can ignore the guy and
Alarm beenden.
stop alarm. Just give it a save. Yeah, that's so beautiful about the game. You really see each crew member doing its duty. So this is what, yeah, you really have this feeling like you're not in command of a machine. Like you always often have that feeling in simulations. But you are actually in command of a crew, and the crew is operating the machine. And yeah, that just feels great about this simulation. And I think this is really the first ever simulation which kind of gives you this approach. really having the crew doing things.
Kurs setzen.
Hey, nice, not wet, just cold. You're still there. I was a little bit worried because I had the gut feeling that since something like an hour I didn't hear anything from the Twitch community. So, yeah, great to hear that you're still there.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, wonderful.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
So now we are closing back in onto our home port of La Rochelle, France, Atlantic coast.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Bestätige.
Whoa, that's bad. That's bad. I never ran into such a problem before. And that's really bad. So you had quite some, campaign going on, saved games and everything. Yeah, well, I mean, we will get, end of January, we will get the Type 9 large submarine anyway, and then we will have to start a new game anyway. So we can look at that from this point of view, but still, it's kind of worrying. I mean, if this happens once, you never know if it might happen a second time. That's the main problem about that. I mean, if it happens once, it's just all right, but then you never know. You can never again be quite sure if your save games are really safe. But maybe you could kind of back up the save games and still recover them. I mean, maybe the game got corrupted and you reinstall it, and maybe you still have access then to the save games. I wouldn't be surprised if it would work like that. Just a guess, actually.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Bestätige.
Yeah. That's why I'm always so afraid of mods in these large-scale games.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloy. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Herr Kaloy, wir befinden uns in flachen Gewässern.
All right. So it's night time. Bad weather, almost zero visibility. Yeah, the galley is fine. We are still well fed, but we are running short of supplies, so it's good that we are gonna be back home in a few hours.
Kurs setzen.
Let's just keep fingers crossed that we don't run into an air raid. This is the worst thing that could happen in the game, that you're just entering port and then run into an air raid where you can't really dive away. And these air raids with something like 5, 6, 7 airplanes at the same time. So here we are, already in vicinity of these beautiful lighthouses marking the port of La Rochelle. And let's reduce speed.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
We were doing flank speed now all the time. But yeah, no problem. We had sufficient fuel. And there we go. Getting into port. It's such a bad weather. Yeah, that's not very glorious to enter the port at night in rain, in a thunderstorm. But however, we are back home. Hey, yippee up. Flank speed. That's maximum speed. I actually thought it was kind of a US English term, American English term, flank speed. I don't know, but yeah, the fastest that you can go. And I think sometimes flank could be something like you shouldn't do that for too long or you would kind of overload the engines. Maybe even something like combat override, but not here. You can go. So flank speed is safe for the engine. It's just that you need particular care for the engines. So you need an officer together with two crewmates to attend to the engines so that you can actually go flank speed. Almost there. Now we are entering the lock, which is also one of these beautiful features of the game. Look at that. I mean, you really have these locks at the entrance of the port, heeding the fact that you have tides outside and maybe don't want to have the tides inside of the port. Yeah, right now we are closing into midnight. If you ask me, it would feel more glorious if we would enter the port at noon. Beautiful sky, Kaiserwetter as we would say in German. There, the lock is closing, and what you really see is that you have this little difference between the sea level outside and inside. And now the lock is gonna level out that difference, and yeah, the doors are gonna open. Doesn't that look great? And there she comes. Oh, there she comes. Watch out, boys, she'll chew you up. Oh, there she comes. She's a merchant eater. Sorry, guys. Yeah, okay. Yep. So there we go. Into port, and let's get to our mooring.
Kurs setzen.
And here we are. Mission complete. Very good. Let's give it a save here. And let's see what we get. Report back to the mission officer. Mr. Trummel shot down the fighter. Contribution to sinking of the Okoro tanker, shot down the Sunderland. The captain. Sinking of Empire Brutus. Completed assignment. Determined torpedo solution course for Okoro. Sinking Okoro. Trevisa sinking. Empire Stuart sinking. Sims class destroyer, we sank it. Yeah, we even sank a destroyer, not only merchantmen. And the Hammond freighter. Empire Prince. Empire Airman. So we sank quite a bunch of ships within that mission. Yeah, that song is great. I love it. One, two, three. Yeah, okay, we sank that one. That was also part of the mission that we entered that fjord and sank ships there. But I think we only got accounted for one. Although we sank two, I'm pretty sure. 4, 5, 6. 6 ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And one of them was a man of war. And we get 100% of reputation and 16,000 Reichsmark. Crew experience has increased. Let's see if it has increased sufficiently. No, not yet. Having reached the next level. But we are close to it. Discipline is going up. What about reputation? We've got 12 reputation points. That's quite something. Now, save the game. And let's see that we restock the ship. Show me what you've got. So items, yeah, let's see that we have the full complement of coffee. Now, that's interesting now, the torpedoes. Bow storage. Bow torpedo tubes. Okay, we've got a lot of old ones with the P1 pistol. These ones are the T1 are the steam powered. That's just fine, but so it looks a bit like we are getting old stuff by now. Maybe because the war is getting late and we are running short on fresh supplies. What do you mean by how far at the headquarters? Okay, so maybe this time I'm gonna have a lot of steam-powered torpedoes, which is perfectly fine. Better than having the pistol P1, which has a very high probability of creating darts, I think. Yeah, let's do it like that. And okay, the sound-seeking torpedoes, I want to have astern. So that's always a good thing to have these astern when you might run into this bad situation that a man of war is following you and you can't dive away quickly enough. You can fire and forget one of these at him. Ah, yeah. Good point. Good point. This is something that I used to forget, to release the prisoners. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Let's finish this one and then we're going to take a look at the HQ. But I'm already progressed pretty far with the HQ upgrades. Refuel. What about ammo? I think I didn't use the deck gun, did I? Yeah, and the flak I didn't use neither. How would you say? Would you say I didn't use neither, or would you say I didn't use either? Yeah, with the food I have to check that later. Let's get replacement parts. Let's get one more of these and let's refit the potassium absorbers. And let's check the galley. Bread.
Was benötigen Sie, Herr Offizier? Sehen Sie sich die Lagerbestände an.
Yeah, always good to have a bit of vegetable or fruit.
Offizier. Sehen Sie sich die Lagerbestände an.
Yeah, let's get the dried fish. And I think we should be alright with that. Exotic fruit, yep. I am in... Hey, Buff Trouty. Yeah, great to see that you're still in. I am at La Rochelle around here. And yeah, we are reaching the end of August 42, and to me it looks like that the abundance of food is reducing. But what you said, let's check the headquarters. So there is not too much left to research. I have positioned one milk cow here and one milk cow there. CD7 and DD6. CD7. Where do we have DD? DD6, yeah, okay. Let's just mark it. Okay. Would be that one. DD6. CD7, DD6. Let's make sure that we are correct. So our life might depend on the precision of that. DD6, CD7. So we could research these next type of torpedoes, but I really don't quite see the point. So I think I would save my development points, my reputation points for now, not doing more research. Hey, my favorite animal. Well, that's hard. Let me think. Maybe I am kind of influenced by you, not Wedge's Code, but if I'd say my favorite animal might be maybe the sperm whale, which I find even more impressive than the blue whale for it going that deep down, 1,000 meters deep into the sea, and yeah, going for prey there. What about you? What's yours? Yeah, and very, yeah, very much thanks for the reminder. Let's go for the prisoners. No, it's no prisoners, it's the refugees. Let's check them and free them. So this will give us additional budget and it will give us additional reputation. So here we are. Horst Strauss, he's available again. Mr. Lindemann is still in the hospital due to tuberculosis. I could get Horst Strauss back to the team, replacing him with one of those guys who are not yet experienced. So Horst Strauss, he's good with discipline. So remove Mr. Kos and get in Mr. Strauss. So we have to hit this here. Where is Walter Kos? There he is. And we have to add Mr. Strauss then. There he is. Yeah, you always have to make sure that this arrangement here is all right and updated, because you get really some kind of weird effects. Like if one of these guys dies during the voyage and you don't take him out of the roster, there is some weird things gonna happen. The leopard, yeah, okay, and the osprey. Yeah, I have to admit that I must Google what the osprey. It kind of sounds familiar, but I have to check what that is actually. It's the it's an eagle. It sounds familiar, but I have to check. Is it this kind of sea eagle? Let me check it. Okay, it's in German it's Fischadler. Yeah. So I wasn't too far away. Yeah, all right. Boff Trouty, the milk cows. Didn't see your question actually. The milk cows, they are large, bulky submarines, and you can use them as support ships. So you can place them in some quadrant on the ocean, and then you can go there and use them to refuel, to rearm your torpedoes, and to restock your food. They're kind of secret supply ships that you can place somewhere on the map. You only get them later in the game, and actually this is the first time that I actually was able to place them. I got them, yeah, something like 2 months ago for the very first time. Yep, exactly. And only they make it reasonable to cross the Atlantic and still have sufficient fuel then to roam the coasts. So that's it, and we have to send the crew on shore leave. Give it a save. And I think we can do it with the leading officer, right?
Verbindungsoffizier, um die Befehle vom BDU weiterzuleiten. Wie kann ich Ihnen behilflich
My
sein?
crew needs a break.
Sehr vernünftig, Herr Kommandant.
Now let's see, there are these different types of rests that we can grant our crew. Yeah, I really would go for 21 days. Money is not an issue. I do have plenty of budget. Yeah, discipline penalties caused by fatigue will be removed. Crew won't accumulate fatigue for 7 days. Discipline plus for 10 days. Due to contact with politicians in the air, the headquarter projects will go 100% faster. Well, that doesn't help us much because we don't have any projects running. Come on, let's take that French chateau. Yeah, you would do the bottom one. Yeah, but as I don't have a project running, maybe I'm just gonna do this one. Because the projects are, don't matter for me right now. Yeah, it's always a bit of a matter of patience because it is a real open world. So the encounters are not scripted or something, but you really just have to find convoys moving. And they are moving on the map independently on you. So yeah, what I do is as soon as I am in the target area, which to patrol, I do something like 6 or 8 hours runs at cruise speed, medium speed, and then do hydrophone checks. So every 6 to 8 hours a hydrophone check, and then sooner or later you will be lucky and find some propellers moving in the range of your hydrophone. Yeah, let's select this. Yeah, when you're still having the Type 2 submarine, it's pretty tricky because it's too slow to actually catch up with targets moving away. But if you do have the Type 7, you can go 16, 17 or 18 knots maximum. And when you have a convoy or a single merchant which is moving with 8 knots, which is typical, then it is well reasonable to go after them and try to circumnavigate them, cut off their way, and put yourselves in front of them. So these kind of targets which are moving with just something like 8 knots, I am actually trying to catch up with them and get them. If you run into a fast moving tanker with 12 knots or one of these modern transport ships which might go up to 15 knots, then it's another business, the cup of tea. Then I would probably, as soon as I find out that they are moving with 12 or 15 knots, I would maybe abandon the chase. Okay. So at that point, let's give it another save. At that point, we could choose our next mission. But if I look at the time, it's 2:30 around here. It's pretty late and yeah, I have to turn in right now. But let me briefly check if there is some nice people which we might want to raid. So if you be so kind and stay in for another few minutes, I would love to introduce you to a woman who is doing wonderful DayZ streams. Quite like that. Let's give her a raid. So, if you have to, have the patience for sharing your time for just a few more minutes, let's check in and go for her channel. But anyway, I want to thank you already now for being in the stream and participating in the chat. So, Not Wet Just Cold, Boff Trouty, and yeah, DS, you were in, and Yip Yap, and Weight Loss, you were in. I'm not quite sure if you're still. So all of you guys, it was a pleasure to have you. And also towards my friends on YouTube, Colin, it's great to have you in. Guy from Scotland, that's just wonderful, because yeah, I have this kind of personal relationship to Scotland. I pretty much like that country. Quinton Jill, you were in. That was a pleasure. So great to have you all. And for the guys on Twitch, please, let's do that little raid and have a look at that DayZ stream of, yeah, a girl. She calls herself Foxy Annika. That sounds, maybe it's different than it sounds. She's doing nice action streams on DayZ. Yeah, here we are. Raid the channel. Okay, so looks a bit like it's being stuck. I clicked on raid and now I only have that turning wheel. Nothing happening. Yeah, bye-bye. Why doesn't it work? Okay, that looks a bit buggy at the moment. Yeah, same for you, Not Wet Just Cold. Same for you. And I'm definitely gonna do some more streams tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. So maybe there will be a lot of streaming over the next days. Yes. But, okay, that's a bit weird. So, looks like I couldn't really do the raid. Let's try again. Okay, now it works. Okay, she's not streaming anymore, as it looks like. she probably is just about to go to bed just as well.
For about like 6-7 hours of play.
But this guy is... That guy is doing nice streams just as well. It's also Daisy, so let's try him. Adam Krug is his name, and he is doing the mask. So most people seem to be doing the mask lately. Let's start the raid, guys. Yeah, just so kind if you stay in the stream until we end up in his Daisy stream. And there we go. So, have a good one, all of you. See you then.
Or we get Stalker 2 on the next good sale. It's definitely worth it. It's worth it. I don't know, I feel like with those games... Oh, no. If I follow the storyline a bit too much, I think I start to lose interest. It's cool, the storyline, but I just wanted to free roam a bit more, but maybe I could have done. I don't think you really do need to follow the quest, but I always wonder with some games like that. I feel like there's a certain point you've got to follow it to just to like unlock areas, and then you can kind of re-explore. It's like that on Fallout and Skyrim. I feel like you got to do the main quest up to a certain point, and then you can kind of ignore it. I think I've got to do that with Stalker 2. If you do need to, I'm not sure. I got the impression you might need to like unlock areas that way.